Welcome to the Wasteland. I'm Sebastian from Cinema Reviews, and thank you for joining us for another little bit of what we call News from the Wasteland. This is our weekly podcast where we gather around the campfire and discuss our thoughts on the state of the proverbial hellscape that is pop culture. Today, I am welcomed by two of my closest friends who have decided to join me into the Wasteland in order to talk about something completely mundane and stupid that has absolutely nothing to do with Thanksgiving because Thanksgiving already passed and we're sick and tired of it just as much as we are of listening to that stupid Christmas song. Guys, would you care to introduce yourselves to the world?
Hey guys, what's up? This is Diego here at Cinema Reviews. I have wrapped myself in some highly flammable garland and try not to sit too close to the fire to be a part of this, but from a respectable and safe distance.
Respectful in the same sense that you are basically trying to avoid that damn song as far as I am. Because even in the Wasteland, that song, you know the one, is still inescapable.
Yeah.
Emmanuel, I know you're in there. Do you got anything you'd like to say?
Yes, I'm here. Hello, everybody. This is Emmanuel here in the Wasteland. I'm ready to basically light up my Christmas tree and light on everything here just to make it have the Christmas spirit. And also, I'm forcing all of you to watch A Christmas Story.
Even in the Wasteland, the Christmas Story is still the only piece of entertainment we have during the holidays.
Alas.
Yes, because what is Christmas without A Christmas Story?
What is Christmas without Jesus? Oh wait, it is Christmas. So we're not going to be talking about Christmas or Thanksgiving today. We're instead going to be talking about something completely unrelated to the holidays because we're a bunch of Scrooges. We're going to be talking about the thing that doesn't matter in movies, aka plot holes. Now, I, like any person with a brain, know that plot holes are like how do you call this? The illusion of criticism. It makes you feel like you're actually picking apart movies and pointing out flaws, when in reality, you're just looking for excuses to shit talk a movie. And we've seen the kind of people who are known for nitpicking and for coming up with shit like this and pointing out all the little nitty bits of this just to justify saying that a movie is bad. Not gonna name any names, Doug Walker, but you know the ones. Today, I am willing to make an exception because somebody's girlfriend decided to make it the theme of this episode. I wonder who that could be.
Not me cowering behind the corner. Why do you think I sat so far away from the fire?
Oh, that fire is not. No matter how far you stay away, that fire is gonna come and meet you, and it's not gonna be pretty.
Oh boy.
Not me either. I would even bring that up. I'm just here enjoying the fire and reading my. What is this? Oh, never mind. Continue.
Whatever books you were using, we probably used them as firewood. Anyways, I decided we're going to talk about this in small quantities, and if we're going to do this, Emmanuel and me are going to have to sit there and think very hard over what classifies as a plot hole, even though, again, they don't matter. So, how about you go ahead and start us off, Diego, Mr. Simp?
Sure. Mr. Simp to the rescue. So this first one, I guess, will give you an idea of what exactly it is we're going to be talking about here. My first topic revolves around the Transformers franchise. Not about Bayformers specifically, but also the comics and the TV shows and the video games. The entire franchise as a whole as it pertains to Transformers.
Oh boy.
So, the question that I am postulating for each and every one of you tonight is how did Transformers reproduce?
What?
Wasn't that the old Spark doing the thing?
Well, the answer is going to be completely disturbing and probably make you vomit into the fire. Yes, I did a little research, and apparently this has a varied amount of answers. There's a whole timeline of the Transformers franchise that I have to take you through so to just like get you to comprehend just how far this goes and how much surprising and shocking amount of thought they actually put into this. So, in Generation 1, which was like the early days of Transformers back in 1984, it's established that you can just build a Transformer like a conventional machine. And all it takes is like the know-how and the right materials and a machine to build them in, of course. And then the Transformer you built just kind of takes on a life of its own. There's really nothing supernatural to it, not really much thought put into it. And that was just when they were starting out, when they were just kind of figuring out how this whole thing works, no pun intended. Later on, during the 2005 IDW comics run of Transformers, this form of reproduction was changed, and any Transformer you built in a machine was just kind of like a drone, sort of like a mindless, lifeless crony. And then after that, they introduced the concept of supernatural artifacts like the Allspark and the Matrix of Leadership, which have been adapted to film and helped us perceive the Transformers as like sentient living beings.
Have they really?
And this is where they...
Have they really, though? I mean, you say they were adapted, but is it really fair to call them adaptations when they literally just took and plucked those elements and then they just decided to do whatever the fuck they wanted with them in the movies?
Yeah, essentially they were just used as like MacGuffins without any sort of like identity or larger purpose. So you do have a point there. However, this is where the stuff really starts to get weird. This is where they introduce the concept of sex. Because once you make robots into living beings, it's only a matter of time, right? A very small minority of Transformers, as a matter of fact, are capable of sex. And it's actually alluded to in the more recent Transformers cartoons and comics, and it's hinted at through like really tasteless jokes and subtle nods in the middle of a kid's cartoon. But probably the weirdest way Transformers reproduce canonically is through budding, which is a concept where they secrete a form of liquid metal that splits itself from its parent like mitosis and forms into a fully formed Transformer.
What the fuck?
And this has effectively turned the Transformers franchise as a whole into nightmare fuel for me. What do you guys think?
Excuse me, I'm gonna... If you guys need me, I'm gonna go vomit across the fireplace.
I'm gonna say, good on you for researching all the even the comics, man. I didn't expect you to go into the IDW, which is basically a whole can of worms that I don't even want to bother go into.
It was a lot more disturbing than I expected, I will admit.
A little?
I actually prefer the part where it was just the Allspark, and let's just leave it at that, because the more you think about it, the answers you're not gonna like.
Oh my god, I think you literally just gave me a migraine.
I know, man. I gotta say, this is one thing that kind of makes you appreciate, as much as I hate to say this, appreciate the Bayformers movies better, because at least they weren't this disturbing.
I mean,
yeah.
You had Wheelie dry humping Megan Fox's leg.
Or Bumblebee pissing off on a dude.
Or literally Destructor, or whatever the fuck his name is, having robot testicles. You know what?
Yeah, that's true.
I even though Michael Bay had nothing to do with this, I'm still blaming him for some reason. No, nothing personal, Bay. I love Pain and Gain, but fuck you for that. Like, this has nothing to do with you, but I need to pin the blame on somebody, and unfortunately, I don't know who wrote these comics, so I had to put you into this, because you're the asshole who decided to have a SpongeBob-sounding squeak toy Autobot, or Minicon, or whatever the fuck that thing was, dry humping Megan Fox's leg.
Man.
And let's not forget the the testicles, and Merlin just dragging this shot for at least 5 seconds of just Merlin drinking a beer. That's not funny at all.
I didn't even know that was a thing. What the fuck?
That was in the last
Transformers movie.
I didn't watch the last night. I stopped watching Transformers movies the minute I realized these films were terrible.
Aw, he actually has more self-control than we do.
Apparently. Why the hell else do you think that I would go out of my way to avoid all of the Transformers movies, including the only one that turned out to actually be good?
Well, you do have a point there. But yeah, listen, here's the thing. The Transformers is like the epitome of a franchise where it's kind of just like you throw something at the wall and you see if it sticks, and then if it sticks, you run with it. A lot of 80s franchises like G.I. Joe and Masters of the Universe were like that. And so honestly, it doesn't surprise me that they're still kind of making this up as they go, because this is definitely what it feels like.
God, at least Gem and the Holograms of all things had a plan of her what it wanted to be. Like, it's simple. She's the owner of a record label. She owns an orphanage, and she has a hologram, or she uses a hologram thingy that turns her into a rock star that she is able to travel around the world, rocking and rolling, while also taking care of a bunch of misogynistic assholes, while also living a double life with the man that she loves. Now that I think about it, it maybe isn't as simple as I put it out to be, but it's still consistent. Which is more than I can say for the goddamn live action movie. Oh boy, that is a war flashback I am not even going to get into.
They made that into a live action movie?
Okay, so technically they did, but they turned it into a live action movie in the same way they made a live action movie about they made a live action Gem and the Holograms movie in the same way that they made a live action version of the Banana Splits movie, where the Banana Splits are fucking animatronics that are killing people.
That's disturbing.
Yeah, it's taking the concept and not even the concept, just taking the name and then doing whatever the hell they wanted. But that's a story for another day. Actually, you know what?
Right.
No, you know what? No, I'm going to be talking about that now, because thank you for bringing it up. Because if I have to hear about Autobots and Decepticons having sex, you assholes have to listen to me talking about Gem and the Holograms.
Thank you, Diego.
You're welcome.
Oh, God damn it. Thank God I have something to drink to put the pain away. Wait.
And why, oh why, we had to bring Gem and the Holograms?
Because
As if I didn't need more excuse to drink more alcohol.
What alcohol? We're drinking moonshine up in here because Nuka-Cola is disgusting.
Give me that moonshine. Because I refuse to listen to any
Get your
more
own, asshole. Go make your own, man. This is my stash. I'll tell you what.
I'm taking it anyway.
You know what? No, okay, I'll tell you what. How about you tell me a plot hole that you're thinking about, and then you can drink some of my personal stash.
All right, then. Well, I have actually two in mind. I don't know if this counts as plot holes or it will matter. All right. First, number one. Well, the butler from Spider-Man 3 telling Harry about the truth about Norman Osborn.
Oh, God.
Even though he was not in the first two, or he wasn't even in the scene where Spider-Man laid Norman to rest in the bed.
Hold on. It just reminded me of something. Diego, you didn't talk about this when you did your Spider-Man 3 video.
Actually didn't. Honestly, I should have, but I felt like the review was kind of dragging on a little too long, so I decided to exclude it from the review.
I mean, honestly, the thing is, long videos are not necessarily a problem. If anything, they can be quite lucrative. Just look at your your Trading Day video. But this was such a monumental what the fuck for me, because it's not even, I don't even know if plot hole is a good enough reason to call this. I think this is just a big oversight for the entirety of the franchise, because it completely changes how you look at the entirety of the movies. Plus, think about it. This butler dude has been around since the first movie. We know who he is. We know that he exists. And we know that he's the Alfred to James Franco's Batman. Because I refuse to address this guy by character, because fuck James Franco. But he has been around for 3 movies. And he knew this from the beginning, and you said nothing? Until now?
It makes the third movie completely useless.
It makes the second movie completely useless. Why the hell do we why do we need to have all this conflict between Harry and Peter? He could have understood perfectly that this was all a freak accident on Norman's own part. He might not have believed it, or maybe he still has some grudge on Spider-Man, but at least it wouldn't be to the point where it would destroy his mental state and basically have him go on a goddamn revenge scheme. The whole thing revolves around Harry not knowing the truth. And it's so stupid because the truth was right there, and this random asshole had it the whole time, but he pocketed it for when the story needed it to. Oh my!
Yeah, and it took another version, an editor's cut of the third movie that took it out. It's not even that in that movie, and actually makes it a little bit better.
Wait, so in the editor's cut, he never tells him what happened to his.
Nope.
Then how the hell did he
Nope.
find out?
Well, he didn't. He just in the editor's cut, he doesn't even appear in the scene. It plays out where Peter's begging Harry to help him, and he said, "You don't deserve my help," and he says he needs us. Get out. And then you just see a scene of Harry looking at the fire, and then he starts looking at a picture of Peter, MJ, and Harry in the park, and he starts getting a little bit teary-eyed, kind of having a reminiscent of the old days.
Wow.
And yeah,
Honestly, that's actually that's less compelling than the scene that we actually got in the theatrical cut, because as much as I hate the theatrical cut because it completely makes the second and third movie unnecessary, this one feels like there's less emotion behind it.
yeah.
Honestly, I have to agree.
Yeah, but it's better than just having the butler saying, "Oh, I knew all along that Norman got killed by his glider. I could have told you this before, but decided, I'll just wait until you get a bomb to your face and you're having scar and wait for that moment to tell you the truth." Anyway, all right, moving to number 2.
Whoa! Don't rush, man. My God, what is up with you and rushing?
Well, I said I had 2.
Yeah, but we're not done talking about it, man. These things last a while. I was gonna say that. Let's go back to that just a little bit. He said that on the night that he died, that he cleaned up his wound. Is this guy supposed to be like a former doctor or a war vet or something like that? How does he know how to clean up? First of all, why not call the police? Did they even call the police? Isn't that the coroner's job to clean up the wound and find out what happened? Why does the butler have this information? Like,
You would think that he would have found this out from the coroner.
exactly. Like, I can at the very least understand if they flash back to a scene where he and Harry went to the morgue and they saw the body. They went and they looked at it and they saw it, and he stuck around to get a little bit more information. But Harry, too distraught with what happened, leaves before he can get this kind of information that is necessary. But you still have to deal with the fact that this asshole knew from the beginning and said nothing. That is such a boneheaded decision, and I don't even know who to blame for this. And with the way that you described the editor's cut, you basically have to go with a choice of let's rip off Revenge of the Sith or let's just straight up tell it to the audience. Because the way that you're describing it reminds me of that scene from Revenge of the Sith where it's just a bunch of establishing shots with Anakin looking at the distance, crying and tearing up before he rushes to Chancellor Palpatine's aid and tries to save him from getting killed by Mace Windu. That's basically how I'm imagining it.
It's more just him looking at the picture and just reminiscing of the old days when they were friends. And he gets teary-eyed, and that's what led him, I'm going to help him. That's about it. And also, you could tell this movie was going to be 2, or hell, one of the writers of 3 even suggested that this should have been 2 parts instead of just one movie because there's just too much stuff happening.
I mean, yeah, there is a lot of stuff happening, and not a lot of it is very good.
And the Venom stuff, honestly, should have made this into like a 2-part movie, because that's how long Venom's origin story is.
I'm just so blown away by all of this. Like, you had a good opportunity to have a Sandman-centric storyline where, you know what, I'm even going to go a step further. I don't mind that they retconned the identity of who killed Uncle Ben. because now you have a story where Peter basically has to go through a crisis of morality, trying to pinpoint, do I want to be the good guy or do I want to be the bad guy? And also having to deal with the symbiote, or symbiote, as that stupid Venom movie called it before they decided to edit that out. And you basically have a movie where it's Peter Parker trying to have a normal life while also trying to learn to be a better person now that he had a taste of what it takes to go to cross the other side, to go into the darkness, as Batman would say it. So, like, you could have, this movie should have ended with Venom turning, well, with the symbiote hooking up to Eddie Brock and him turning into Venom. It should not have ended with that stupid fight between Spider-Man, Venom, and Sandman, and then the New Goblin. Like that should not have been the case. I don't know how this would have been a better movie, but considering that Sam Raimi wanted the Vulture to be in the movie instead of Venom, it kind of shows that there was a different movie in there that never ended up getting made. So if there was going to be a Spider-Man 4, it should have been a Venom movie front and center.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I completely agree.
Yeah, and you could tell that Raimi is more of a fan of the classic 60s comic book issues instead of the modern ones from the 90s.
Plus, I have to agree. The fact that Uncle Ben died because Flint Marko didn't know what his trigger finger was is one of the stupidest plot twists I have ever seen.
I am still pissed about that.
No, honestly, that doesn't bother me. Honestly, especially what he said. I mean, I still get emotion where Flint says to Peter, "I'm not asking you to forgive me. I just need you to understand."
Oh, I understand. What I don't understand is how the hell did this become the thing? Like, first of all, what? Like, you know what I just realized? We never got to see him get arrested. And why didn't the police ever inform him about this? Aren't they supposed to? I'm not an expert because I know that the police are a bunch of corrupt assholes, but you would think, considering how tied up to this whole thing they were and how close they were with the Parkers with the situation, that they would have told them, oh, by the way, there was an accomplice that was involved with the whole thing, and he's still at large. Well, actually, no, we arrested him, but now he is free. And you were going to tell us that there was an accomplice when? When he conveniently freed himself, and now we're going to tell you for absolutely no reason.
Yeah. Honestly, the Raimi trilogy as a whole, when you look deep into it, I think it's better to just enjoy them as movies, because if you think hard enough, most of these movies have plot holes.
Yeah, the thing is, like I said, plot holes to me don't matter. To me, a plot hole is manufactured criticism. It's fake criticism. Just like when people say that something is woke or anything like that. To me, plot holes and woke is the same shit. Even though one is coded under racism, sexism, and homophobia, the other one is just Doug Walker culture, as I'm going to call it from here on in. And anybody who follows Doug Culture's word or tries to mimic his style is a fucking idiot and needs to stop.
Yeah. But another thing, I agree with you, Diego. Mary Jane is, hell, even in the trilogy as a whole, Mary Jane is just not that well written, even in the second one.
She was dead weight from the beginning. I'm sorry. I love Mary Jane, but they did her so dirty with these movies.
Just wait until my Amazing Spider-Man review when I have to talk about Gwen Stacy, who is just Mary Jane but with blonde hair.
Whoa, hold on. She is a lot of things, but don't you dare compare her to Mary Jane. That's just blasphemy.
I'm comparing her to her comics counterpart. She would be a faithful adaptation if she had red hair and her name was Mary Jane, but she's just Gwen Stacy, but with Mary Jane's personality and blonde hair.
Maybe, but the thing is, Gwen Stacy wasn't that good of a character in the comic either, so I don't know what Mark Webb was thinking, but I think his version of Gwen Stacy is much better than the actual Gwen Stacy from the comics.
Yeah,
it was basically
even I agree.
It was basically a sentient who's basically a sentient, sex symbol with no fucking personality whatsoever. Like the most impactful thing that she has done is die, and that really says a lot. Thank God for the Spider Gwen comics because they
I was
really
just
did
about
her
to
better.
say, yeah, they for sure.
Yeah. Gwen Stacy, I agree. She in the comics, she is just Peter's equal, but she's still not that well developed. At least, in the Mark Webb version, she's no damsel in distress.
Mm-mm.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So, Emmanuel, I think you had another one you wanted to talk about. So, why don't you go ahead and start us off?
Okay. I'm gonna suggest. Well, I had number 2, but I don't know if you're gonna agree with me on this. If this is a plot hole or just nitpicking, but
I mean, plot holes are
and
nitpicking, so.
well, yeah. Well, okay then. So, Gravity. Uh,
Before I say anything, what exactly are you referring to when it comes to gravity?
I'm guessing the part where Sandra Bullock has to separate from George Clooney, and when George Clooney gets like separated from her or just cut up, he goes on just like super speed in space, even though in reality they wouldn't go that fast.
I mean, the thing is, that's not really a plot hole. That's just the laws of physics. If you at whatever speed you're going in space, you're going to stay in that speed until something of equal mass is able to stop you.
Yeah.
Then again,
Okay.
I should probably say that with a grain of I should probably add that with a pinch of salt there because, despite how much I enjoy stuff regarding space, I am not Mark Rober, so I know fuck all about how space actually works. So, I'm not gonna tell you much about it. So all I can say is it's not so much a plot hole, mostly because it's very likely that's just how space works.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, well, then again, I had this other one, which even James Cameron even act when face to face with that plot hole and say "shut the fuck up" is when Rose was at the the Titanic sank. Rose found the door,
oh, for
and
God's sake.
the door was big enough to fit 2 people.
We saw them both trying and failing to stay on the door. The movie shows us that neither one of them could fit together. They showed this to us. How fucking stupid are you people? Quit bitching about the damn door. Everyone who has seen the movie has seen them trying to get into the door together, only for it to capsize. It would only work if one of them can hold the door from the side so the other can get in there. Jack died because it was either him or her, and he knew he would rather she live and him die because he's a street rat with no fucking legacy to care for, and she is still underage and still. Oh yeah, by the way, she is underage. I forgot to mention that, but yes, she still has her whole life
Hey,
ahead
what?
of her. Moving on. That's not a plot hole. That's just people. That's just fanboys bitching and moaning.
I don't know. I don't know if that doesn't count as bitching and moaning when you say she's underage.
That's not
That's
even
just
a.
disturbing.
That's not a plot hole. That's just fucked up. But
Like I said, disturbing.
I mean, that's keep in mind, that is allegedly speaking. I can't speak for who the hell came up with it. I hope I could be wrong because even by 1918 or 1912, good lord, no, 1912. Oh my god, I almost forgot when the Titanic sank. Even by the time that this movie happened, child marriage was still illegal. I think I
Hey,
don't. Oh God, I don't even know my history anymore because there's rednecks out there who are angry at gay people for getting married, but are trying to defend pedophiles getting married to underage girls. So I don't even know anything anymore. Thank you, Elon.
so
I'd
what you're
argue,
saying? So what you're saying is, oh God, no. Oh, man, I'm never gonna see that scene with her in the car, in the steam, in the hand. Oh God.
Easy for you to say. I'll watch that scene over and over, but not for her.
Yeah, but dude, when you suggest that she's underage.
I'm not saying she is. I'm saying maybe because I heard rumors. I think she's probably 18. You know what? No, you know what? I'm gonna nip this in the bud before we continue on here, because now I'm fucking confused. Hold on. How old was?
Is she at least 17?
Listen.
Wait a minute, she was 17. Oh my god, I was right. She was underage. God damn it. She was 17. They said it in the movie. Oh fuck. Oh,
thank you, asshole.
That was not my fault. The movie said it first. The movie said it first.
What the fuck, Kevin?
Oh,
it gets worse and worse the more you look into it.
Shut up!
Oh my god! Instead of rooting for these two to be together, now I have to say, somebody called the cops or somebody called Chris Hansen. Oh no, don't call Chris Hansen.
Fuck Chris Hansen and fuck the police, and I don't mean that in the NWA sense. Oh god, I think my life expectancy just got shortened.
Yeah. Oh god.
Oh god. Oh my god. Okay.
The highest grossing movie of all time, featuring pedophilia.
Oh my god, my fucking head now hurts.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's talk about something that has nothing to do with underage girls, for God's sake. Okay,
All right.
my turn. How about I start us off? Because I know whatever I come up with cannot possibly be controversial. Ooh, let's talk about Game of Thrones.
Oh boy.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm not gonna.
Are we doing this again?
Oh no. We're not talking about Game of Thrones because we're talking about movies. Plus, if we were talking about Game of Thrones, this video would last longer than the fucking Earth has before it collapses.
Yeah. Or I would just be bye, because I am sick and tired of just people bitching and moaning about Game of Thrones.
Oh, you know that's just me. So, instead, I'm going to talk about a little something that I've been very curious about to see if anybody does anybody really want me to talk about this? Back to the Future.
Which one specifically?
Which one specifically?
The first one.
Oh,
yeah.
Tread lightly.
Oh, I'm gonna tread as lightly as I possibly. Oh, wait a minute. Who the fuck do I care? I'm not popular enough to cause a commotion. So if this gets me into trouble, then come fucking for me. So yeah, let's talk about how. First of all, the Back to the Future movies don't really make any sense when you get around the whole time travel aspect. Because if you really think about it, Marty is no longer Marty. Marty is dead. Marty is basically gone. His family is gone. Everything is gone. Because if you saw it by the end of the movie, even Doc Brown was kind of confused when Marty says that his dad never stood up to Biff before in his life. And when he saw the picture and he was like, never? He had a little moment of concern, but then sort of kind of just forgot about it and shrugged it off. But when he goes back to 1985, all the little changes from Twin Pines Mall now being Lone Pine Mall and everything else in between, he started to realize that's not even his family. Whoever this is, there's got to be another Marty McFly out here somewhere, but that's not him. So if anything, this Marty should no longer exist. All they did was create a completely different timeline with a completely different McFly family, which means, by virtue, a completely different Marty. So how the hell is this Marty still in here?
Well, Back to the Future, Part 2 specifically, confirms that two Martys can't exist in the same timeline. It's just they can't interact with each other. For example, when we go to the darkest timeline, in Back to the Future 2, where Biff is like the mayor of Hill Valley or whatever, it's confirmed that Marty is in boarding school, I think in Switzerland. So that means that eventually in the nicest timeline, Marty McFly is going to run into his other self, and that's going to destroy the universe.
So what the hell happened with the first movie then? Where's the Marty from that timeline?
Oh, that's the Marty from the end of the first Back to the Future movie.
Excuse
Like I said, time travel fries your brain like an egg.
My head is now hurting. My head is now fucking hurting.
That
Ow.
means
Oh, no.
that Marty
Oh
destroyed
no, I've
his
gone
own
cross-eyed.
Yes. And Marty destroyed his own original timeline and is now trapped in the nicest timeline where he doesn't belong, where he's eventually going to run into his other self and die and kill half the universe with it.
But then where is his other self then? If he's not in there, then where the hell is he?
I don't know. I can't say for sure. All I know is he stole the other Marty's truck.
Oh my god, you know what this means? Fucking, Eric Stoltz was right. Back to the Future is a tragedy.
It is.
Oh my god. Oh, the more you think about it, this is a pretty sad story, because there's no way in hell anyone can look at this and think, wait a minute, is this a happy story or a sad story? Because his life as he knows it is completely gone.
Yep. And yeah, it's a good thing.
Well, go ahead, Diego.
It's a good thing that nobody comes to these movies for the logic.
There's
Good one. I was gonna say that because at the end of the day, who the fuck cares? It's Back to the Future. I'll still enjoy it till my dying day because it's a fucking classic.
Yeah, the thing is, it's just when you really get around to it, this shit is just so.
Yeah, yeah. When you think about it, yeah. But the other thing, it's a movie.
Yeah, now you know why I don't consider plot holes to be actual criticism.
Yeah. When you think about it, yeah. Back to the Future does have plot holes. Even the second one.
All of them technically do, if you think about it. I mean,
Yeah, actually, all of them.
but
Well, yeah, all of them. But man, I can't remember. I only saw the third one a couple of times. I don't remember any plot holes in the third one. Can you refresh my memory?
well, there was one thing that I thought was a plot hole. Remember that scene where he's eating pies? He's eating a pie, and the little round thingy where he's eating the pie, it has the name Frisbee on it, and then he throws it around, and that's sort of like this is how they invented the Frisbee because it's literally by a company called Frisbees. Like I thought that was complete bullshit, but then I did a little research, and well, it's a little hyperbolic. This is actually not at all too different from how the Frisbee was actually invented in real life. So, if anything, Back to the Future Part 3 took real life history and recoded it into a way that they can use for this movie. So, yeah, it's taking historical context and making its own unique creation with it.
That's actually kind of clever.
I know, right?
That is clever. Using things that actually happen and just basically
Repurposing
retool it. Yeah, I was gonna say retool it, but repurposing is a good word too.
Mm-hmm. Also, ZZ Top is in the movie, and they were apparently so good at playing a bunch of innocent bystanders playing guitars that nobody knew who they were because they were convincing extras.
Wait,
That was cool.
Wait, ZZ Top?
Yeah, tell me, Emmanuel, tell me that you knew that ZZ Top were in this movie.
I think they were the guys who were playing the band in the movie where Doc and Claire were dancing.
Yes, I'll make it easy. They were the assholes with the beards.
Were they part of Biff's gang?
Not as far as I'm aware. They were just a bunch of innocent city dwellers.
No, they were just in the band.
Yes. Oh my god.
But they were in the band. But they were in the band playing the song.
They were the band. Yeah, they even did the thing with the guitars where it spins around.
Cool.
Yeah, that was ZZ Top the whole time. Just like that one guy from the first Back to the Future movie where he says that you're just too darn loud. That was Huey Lewis.
Oh yeah, I know that one. Everybody knows that.
There's
Yeah.
there's a lot of good things to talk about the Back to the Future movies.
Yeah, you basically say something that's basically controversial. Anything with Back to the Future, even though I would say blasphemous.
Hey, don't look at me. Look at the other person's girlfriend who suggested this topic.
Oh, what? Does your girlfriend does not like Back to the Future?
Diego, you're being quiet there.
Yeah.
Me? My girlfriend is probably listening to this right now and enjoying the hell out of it.
I just imagine her like looking like she's gonna be looking like that scene from iCarly where she's holding a mug and watching a monitor from a distance with a smirk on her face. That's
Yes.
gonna be her watching this and listening to us.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, and also, when Mom and Dad were not fighting, Diego, it's not your fault.
Oh my god!
Oh, she has a topic for that you guys are really gonna enjoy, but that's for later. Who's next?
All right.
I think that's you, Diego, because I already finished with my part.
Okay. Well, this is going to be my final topic for the night. One like I just said, this idea is brought to you guys by my girlfriend Stephanie.
Oh boy.
She started a whole rabbit hole here in the Wasteland, and it's something that traumatized us completely, and we couldn't stop talking about it. Hence, why we're talking about movie plot holes tonight. It revolves around the Cars movies.
Oh god.
Yes.
No. No.
And I have several questions.
But wait, hold up. All of them or just one?
I have several questions.
Several. Oh boy. Oh god. Oh, I
Let's
just
get
ran
this
out of
started.
alcohol.
Let's get this started, shall
I'm not drunk enough for this, Diego.
Yeah,
Dude.
hold on. Let me look at my moonshine stash here.
Fuck you!
Sorry,
I need the moonshine. Oh god, just get it started. Oh god.
Do the
Alright.
cars have gods? Do the cars have internal organs?
What?
Do the cars have the ability to reproduce? And if so, how?
What?
Did the cars have racism? Did they have a civil rights movement? Do cars have civil rights issues today? And if so, what are they?
Ah!
Do the cars have wars? What was World War II like? And who were the Allies and who were the Nazis?
Are you?
Do cars have social hierarchy? And what is that like? One of our Discord followers, Citizen Flair, I believe their name is, posed this question. If they have slaves, does that mean that planes and boats are slaves? What is the biological or biotechnological evolutionary origin of cars? What is the genetic ancestor to a car? Is it a horse wagon? And if so, where did the horses go? These are the important questions that we need to ask ourselves here tonight.
I hate.
You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me.
I hate you, Diego. I fucking hate you.
Sebastian, you got any more moonshine?
I just ran out, damn it! And you know what the worst part is? Because of that, I now have to ask a question. And I'm very sorry, Emmanuel, but he made me do this. Since cars are made on a factory, if a car were to be scrapped before it starts to get built, or rather it starts to get built, but then they scrap it for spare parts or whatever, does that technically count as an abortion?
God.
Oh god. Oh god! No!
I can't. Well, here's another moonshine. Drinks up.
Oh god.
Both of you guys short circuit tonight.
I think I
Jesus Christ, man! There are some questions that do not need to be answered. Some questions deserve to be unanswered for a reason.
I will.
I love my job.
And also, screw you for ruining my innocence.
I love my job.
Oh god. Actually, now that I think about it, I have to ask now. Was there a 9/11 in the Cars universe? Does that mean? Hold on. Because we know that planes, like big jumbo jets, exist in the Cars universe because Cars 2 confirms that, and cars go inside of them. Not in the sexual way, fuck you, but we know that they exist. So, does this mean that if we're using the logic of these movies, does this technically mean that 9/11 in this case was a big fat murder suicide between the planes and a bunch of really pissed off Arab jeeps or whatever the fuck?
Oh god, that's dark.
Yeah.
You made me do this! You made me do this!
Or hell, I got another thing. If World War II happened, who carried the atomic bomb?
Who released the atomic bomb?
Yeah.
I want to know. Here's the thing: do the races go by brand or do they go by country? So, like, is Ford like America and like Mitsubishi is Japan? I want to know what that's like.
Does that
Yeah.
mean Volkswagen is Germany?
Yes, they were the Nazis.
Or Mitsubishi or Hyundai, or does Hyundai count?
Oh god. Actually, no. You know what? Hold on. They make a joke in the first movie for the love of Chrysler. Does this mean that Chrysler is literally Christ in this universe?
Jesus Chrysler.
God fuck you.
Sebastian, hold me. I'm gonna choke this man to death.
Oh fuck you! I'm choking him first. Oh god! I don't know what's worse: the fact that he's asking some really important questions that do kind of need to be answered, or the fact that now I'm questioning. Wait a minute. If cars were to reproduce, is that what the exhaust pipe on the back of the car? Ah!
No,
Oh,
dude.
no.
Dude. Oh my god, Diego. I think you've circuited his brain to the point where he's now dead.
I think they killed him. Yes.
Yeah.
Sebastian, are you there, buddy?
Sebastian, hello?
I hate you
Oh,
so
no.
much, Diego. I hate you so fucking much right now.
Hey, how many fingers am I holding up?
My ass.
All right, then. If you're dead or you're done sing, I'm taking your Starship Blazers collection.
You didn't even say the damn name right, you piece of shit.
He's fine.
Honestly, this rabbit hole is is low-key kind of fascinating. It really makes you wonder how much thought they put into these movies. Obviously not much, because now we're just kind of like pondering like some sort of Lovecraftian existence in the Cars universe.
I think I just saw.
Yes.
I think I
but-
just saw God for a second there.
Yeah. Sometimes let just innocence be innocence. Is that hard? Is that not? Is that too much to ask?
Oh my god.
I still would. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Cars, but I enjoyed the first one.
I
Oh.
like Cars. I actually really like Cars, but oh wait a minute! I just realized something. Henry Ford, is he okay? So if Chrysler is Jesus Christ, then hold on, is Henry Ford like a deity in this universe? Is he like the big G, or is he like Buddha in this world?
That's a good idea. That's actually a
that-
good question.
Good question.
Oh my
The answer is, oh god, where's the moonshine? I can't take this shit no more.
I think literally Diego just broke us. We just officially gone full. I'm not even gonna say that word here, but you have destroyed us both, Diego.
Yeah, more than this asshole destroyed us with ruined our perception of Titanic.
Oh, get over it! It's not my fault the movie confirmed she was 17.
Yeah, even though in the New York State the age of consent is 17.
Moving the fuck on, Diego. Do you have anything else that you would like to add regarding this particular plot hole, or this rabbit hole of plot holes that you have now caused me to think long and hard over?
What happens when you open a door?
Emmanuel, you can go next.
All right, this is something that I don't know if it counts or not because people have joked this to death. Armageddon.
Okay, we're talking about the Michael Bay movie or the end of the world that Diego has brought upon me.
The Michael Bay movie where you could have just easily trained these astronauts to be to drill that meteor instead of just using actual drill. Basically, these guys who have no experience in space flight training, and you have to teach these guys the ropes instead of just the other way around.
Oh God.
Yeah.
When
you think about it, yeah, this was not well thought out, doesn't it? But then again, you look at the writers' credits. That's a lot of writers.
I mean, how many writers did this movie have?
It has two that I remember. It has J.J. Abrams.
No, we have more.
What?
Really?
Yeah. Let me hold up. I'm gonna look this up. I'm pretty sure it has more, and even some more that were gone uncredited. Hold up, because I'm pretty sure J.J. Abrams wrote, or at least was one of the writers.
I mean, like, is he actually like a real writer, or is he like Joss Whedon with Toy Story, where he's technically a writer in the same sense that an executive producer is an actual producer?
Yeah. Well, it has. Hold up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 writers.
What the fuck?
Yep, 6 writers. And go on this. Tony Gilroy is one of the writers.
Wait, hold on. Andor, Tony Gilroy?
Andor, Rogue One, also Tony Gilroy.
What the are you serious?
Yep, look it up on IMDb.
Oh, wow. Oh God.
And to think it has plot holes this big.
Yeah.
I mean, you can tell that he only worked with something, because there's no way one can look at this and think this is the same guy who did Andor. Like, I'm only on episode 3 of Andor, and I'm loving it so far. But oh God, no! This is what the fuck am I even looking at here?
Yeah, and it's so J.J. Abrams, also one of the writers, and yeah, this is so 90s. The fact that you just use regular Joes on a dangerous mission that requires professionals to do this instead of just, well, let's just use these guys to basically drill a meteor and put a bomb in there and just blow it up. Then again, it's the 90s. But do I care? No, because I have a kind of a fun soft spot for this movie. Sure, it's not a great movie, but who cares? It has a great what was that band again? Aerosmith song.
Yeah, that was, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that song is basically what brought Aerosmith back into relevancy.
Yes, and even though it has Bruce Willis, and God, I cannot. Man, now every time I see Bruce Willis in a movie now, I can't help but feel sad now.
Yeah, unfortunately, it really is amazing what time does to a movie when you really think about it.
Yeah, it's a plot hole that, it ruins the movie, but do I care? Not really.
I mean, if you can still sit down and enjoy this movie, clearly that shit wasn't as important as somebody like Nostalgia Critic would want you to think.
Yeah. I mean, even Michael Bay didn't care. Even though years later, he said that this movie is not... He even admits, Michael Bay himself says that Armageddon is not my best movie.
I mean, it kinda... Yeah, no, it really isn't. That shit sucked.
Yeah. I mean, even though that movie is all in the Criterion Collection.
It's in the Criterion Collection, but it hasn't even been re-released on Blu-ray. Because you gotta remember, Akira is on the Criterion Collection too.
Yeah. But still, Armageddon is in the Criterion Collection. The same auteur-driven collection that respects filmmakers like Godard, Scorsese, or Akira Kurosawa. And yet, they would respect Michael Bay enough to include 2 of his movies in the collection.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time they have a shitty movie as part of the Criterion Collection.
I mean, name one.
Do you really want me to tell you?
Wouldn't shock me.
I mean, you say that, but the truth is that there's a lot of shitty movies that they've included as well. But that's really not for here. It's more so, it's just a little, just a little tidbit to point out. I mean, when I look at Armageddon, I see it as basically just as a fun waste of time. Like, I don't hate this movie. I actually really enjoyed it, but I look at this and I'm thinking, yeah, no, I know for a fact that I know for a fact that Michael Bay, yes, that Michael Bay can do better.
Yeah, I know he can do better. He has done better in the second movie that he did before making this one.
Hmm. In fact, actually, now that I think about it, a lot of people consider the Armageddon to be one of the worst movies to be included as part of the Criterion Collection. But I don't know how to feel about that because the Criterion Collection also has, if I'm not mistaken, it also has The Power of the Dog. And I
The
fucking
power.
yeah, The Power of the
Oh.
yeah. And if you know how I feel about The Power of the Dog, I'm very sorry if you're a fan of that movie. But that was 2.5 hours of my life I am never gonna get back.
Yeah, well, the Criterion has most movies like Power of the Dog that are just boring.
Yeah, I mean, it has The Irishman.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sit. I'm not gonna. I'm sorry. It has nothing to do with Scorsese. I love Scorsese, but The Irishman sucked. I'm sorry. So,
No.
yeah, let's. So I think we got time for one more. Just oh boy. You know what?
All right.
Let's.
Who's next?
Well,
Who's next?
Diego already broke my mind with his. You don't look like you have anything else to come up with. Uh, let's see. I guess one plot hole that I guess you can start to point out is this Terminator Dark Fate. Oh god, we're talking about Terminator.
Oh, wait, what?
Oh no.
Say that again?
Terminator Dark Fate. I'm going there. I'm going there.
Wait.
No.
Mother.
We're getting
wait,
dark
what?
up in this.
Hey, for a moment, I thought you said Terminator Salvation.
No. We're talking about Dark Fate. Salvation is a shitty movie, but at least it's a shitty movie that's decent on its own. We're not going to talk about that now. We're going to talk about the redheaded stepchild of the Terminator movies. Oh my goodness.
Diego, please, for the love of God, you better bring some rope because I am 1 second this close to strangle this man for mentioning that movie.
You can use my garland.
Ugh.
So, where do we begin with this? So let's go back to Terminator 2, the best one in the franchise. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen the masterpiece that is Terminator 2 Judgment Day. And if you haven't
And you should.
I was about to
And
say
you-
that, but okay. So, TLDR. After the events of the first Terminator movie, where Kyle Reese ends up saving Sarah Connor from getting killed, or rather, she ends up saving herself because Kyle Reese was dead before he can actually do anything, and his death was a big tragedy, and it's very sad and all that shit. She ends up getting arrested years later after giving birth to her son John, who was supposed to be the savior of the Resistance. Now her son is 10 years old, living with a foster family who doesn't give a shit, and now 2 Terminators are being sent to try to kill him. But here's the twist. One of them is actually a good guy, and he was sent by John himself to protect him and his mother in this timeline. And that Terminator is the same Terminator, or at least the same model, that was originally sent back to the 80s to kill Sarah when she was still young. Now, blah, 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 we got a whole bunch of different things that happen. Miles dies and blows up Cyberdyne, so there's no chance for them to create any more Terminators in the future. Everything has been destroyed, but we still got a final climax. John is able to John, Sarah, and the Terminator are able to apprehend and destroy the T-1000. He is completely destroyed because he is melting like the fucking bastard that he is in that pit of molten magma or lava, whatever the hell you want to call it. But the Terminator's job is not over yet, because in order to prevent any chance of them reproducing another Terminator in the future, he has to be destroyed along with everything else. That's why they took the arm and the chip from the original Terminator from the first movie, and they destroyed it as well. So they got to destroy that Terminator as well, just to prevent any loose cases from happening. They do so. And then the movie ends. We got that wonderful monologue from Sarah saying that if even a machine or a Terminator can feel that kind of humanity, then maybe we can as well. And that's it. The movie is over. Beautiful ending. Pack up, and we're done. You now have the greatest sequel in movie history.
Yes, but in Dark Fate,
we fucking get there, Emmanuel. Do not. We need. This is something that needs to be built up. You need to be patient, my friend. So,
how can I be patient when we bring up Dark
Fate? Be fucking patient, Emmanuel. This didn't scar you like it did me, so let me get to it.
It scarred me.
Oh,
it scarred me. It made me mad.
Oh, it made you mad. It made you mad. I was there when it happened. But let's not push things. Let's continue. So that's it. The movie's over. Then they made a shitty sequel to Terminator Rise of the Machines. It was decent, but it was still bad. Terminator Salvation happened. Then Terminator Genesis, whatever the fuck you want to call it, happened, where the damn Doctor Who ended up destroying the timeline. But we're not going to talk about that because Emilia Clarke is a terrible actress and Jai Courtney is a terrible actor, and everybody was... What did I say about Emmanuel? What did I say about cutting people off?
I was just gonna bring up, why the hell would you bring up make John Connor the bad guy?
I was about to say that.
Go ahead.
And, I mean, you already did, but yes, they did that as well. That movie is systematically ignored because it was a piece of shit and nobody liked it, except James Cameron for some fucking reason, because he actually endorsed it, again, for some fucking reason. And then we get Terminator Dark Fate, which, as far as anyone is concerned, is the only sequel that should have mattered, because Cameron was actually involved with this one. Unfortunately, another person was involved with it as well, David Goyer, aka the Kiss of Death when it comes to screenwriting. And you can tell that he's the Kiss of Death because he's had his dirty hands put on Batman v Superman, Man of Steel, Blade Trinity, and several other abominations that I'm not going to name out here because it'll take forever. David Goyer is a horrible screenwriter and a horrible story writer. And that should have been warning sign number one. But throughout the whole course of the movie's production and the movie's promotion, they made it very clear that this is going to be a direct follow-up to the second Terminator movie, in which nothing, including Terminator Rise of the Machines, Salvation, or Genesis, whatever the fuck you call it, happened. This was going to be a direct follow-up, a direct sequel. No other nonsense would actually work in this. Everything was going to start continuing from here. Okay. Fantastic. A direct sequel. No problem. And what's this? Edward Furlong? He's gonna come back? Oh my goodness, that sounds wonderful. He looks a little old and his voice has definitely gotten a little rusty over the years because of all the cigarettes he's been smoking. But you know what? A little CGI here and there, they can fix that. Okay, that's cool. I don't know what the hell he's gonna be doing in there, but I'm excited to see this. So, the movie finally comes in. You're sitting there and you watch that wonderful opening where you see the original, we see all the Terminators rising, only for it to be revealed that we prevented this future from happening. So, Cyberdyne no longer exists. There are no Terminators. We see a beautifully de-aged Sarah Connor, played by Linda Hamilton, with John Connor, again, played by a digitally de-aged Edward Furlong, just living their lives like usual. But then suddenly, the damn T-101 appears out of nowhere. Again, with a digitally de-aged Arnold Schwarzenegger, ends up injuring Sarah and murders John Connor on the spot.
Oh, not just on the spot. Shotgun point to the chest.
So,
yes.
Now, let's examine this a little bit. Let's get a little. Let's point out the idiosyncrasies of this, if I'm even using that word correctly. But let's analyze it a little bit. So you have a sequel that directly follows up to the second Terminator movie, where the whole point was to prevent Judgment Day from happening. And now you kill off John with the same Terminator that was used in the last movie to save him. Okay, so you killed off John. I'm going to assume that this is a new timeline. We have a new set of circumstances happening. I don't know what these circumstances are, but you know what? That's fine. That's okay. It's a new movie, a new story, a completely original twist. So what are you going to do? I'm sorry, did I say original? When I said original, I meant let's do Terminator 2, but let's just completely redo it from scratch with a completely new cast. So they have a new Terminator coming out of nowhere with a cybernetic woman. Like, she was not a Terminator, but she was sent back in time in the same way Kyle Reese did in the first movie. And the Terminator that's supposed to kill the John Connor from this universe is instead this girl named Daniela or something like that. And apparently it's not Cyberdyne anymore. It's now something called Legion. Yes, it's a new Cyberdyne. That is, where the hell did this company come from? I have no idea, but it exists now because fuck the whole, the future is not written. No, apparently this completely contradicts, so, let me calm down for a second here. Let me calm down.
Here, have a squeegee toy. Have a squeegee toy to squish. It helps me.
I need something legitimate to squeeze, and I don't think you're within reach for me to squeeze. So, I don't want to crush anything precious in you.
Yeah. Oh, crush anything precious. How about the fact that you kill off John Connor, the most important character in this whole thing, and you just kill him off?
No, it's not. It's not even that they killed. No, killing John was never the problem. I don't care that they killed off John Connor, and I stand by that. Killing John Connor is not the problem with Terminator Dark Fate. That was not the problem. The problem was that Terminator Dark Fate is a contradiction of what they promised this was going to be. They said this is going to be a completely different story and a follow-up to Terminator 2, when in reality, it was exactly what Genesis was. A reboot / requel retelling the events of this movie, but with a completely new cast. Only in this case, instead of redoing the first Terminator movie with a completely different cast, but with a small, stupid twist that doesn't make any sense in hindsight, what they did here was they basically took the first two movies and they deleted them from fucking history. Or at least they made the second movie 100% insignificant. And what really bothers me more than any of this is that they took a lot of the most emotional moments from that movie, from the first and second. One of the most beautiful lines was that of Kyle Reese telling,
"You mean,
Emmanuel, what did I say? That's the second time." One of these lines revolves around Kyle telling Sarah that the future is not written. There is no fate but what we make for ourselves. Which, if you've ever taken any second to think about what that means, it means that fate is bullshit. Destiny is bullshit. That anything being pre-written or being destined is complete bullshit. You make your destiny. You decide how the future will go. That is what these movies are representing. That is what the Terminator franchise is representative about. You directing your own future. What Terminator Dark Fate does with all of this, apart from just pissing me off, is that it completely spat in the face of that philosophy. Because No, the future is written. There is still going to be an end of the world. There's still going to be a future war, and John Connor is now going to be a different person because it's still going to happen, and we still need to have a protector of the earth or a savior. And like in the first movie, another person comes out of fucking nowhere and says, "You taught me that there is no fate but what we make for ourselves." Only the person this is being told to is someone we have no fucking clue about, have never been introduced to before, has not even had a chance to make an impact as a character because they're not being an original character. They're just being someone retooling old lines and even old personalities and plot points from the first two movies. This movie is not original. This movie is trying to work off the backbones of the best sequel in its franchise, and it did so by trying to make that movie irrelevant. And that is why I hate Terminator Dark Fate. So the whole movie is a gigantic plot hole.
Plot hole. Yeah. This you took the words out of my mouth, right out of my mouth. I mean, hey, yeah, I mean, it's not original. I mean, yeah, it's original as a penny, because Jesus Christ, it's just I'm just watching Terminator 2 all over again, and this chick that they're protecting is she's just John Connor, only not as interesting because we don't know much about her. She's a new character, and they're trying so hard to make her cool, even though she kind of isn't because she hasn't earned any of this.
And I feel sorry for these people. I feel sorry for the cast because this movie got a lot of backlash because you know how the internet is with women. The internet hates women. That's a fact. So I've been very quiet about my feelings on Terminator Dark Fate for years because I didn't want to add more to that toxicity. And I stand by that. This is not any of the actresses' fault. If I'm gonna blame anybody for this, it's not gonna be the girl that played Grace or Daniela. I'm not gonna blame Linda Hamilton. I'm not even gonna blame Schwarzenegger. I'm gonna only blame one person for this, and it's the same asshole that I blame for Batman v Superman, Man of Steel.
I know. But
I'm still
hold on.
Emmanuel. What?
Hold up. Can I just intersect? Can I add one thing?
You cannot interrupt, Emmanuel. I was going to say David Goyer. Now you may talk.
I wouldn't point the blame just on David Goyer. I mean, because this movie has been written by like 3 other people. And you could tell that this movie was just jam-packed with ideas that just feel just like stuff. And James Cameron, yeah, he approved and it was his idea to kill off John Connor.
And again, that was not a problem though. Like I said, him killing off John Connor was never the issue. It's the story that was the issue.
Yeah, that and the story too. And I mean, but in the end of the day, this movie killed the franchise for me. I was like, nope. After this, I am done. I'm just done.
It really is a shame that all of this happened the way that it did, because this should not have ended the way that it did. This could have had the potential to be the best sequel to the Terminator ever, but at the end, what it was is a halfway decent movie. And I even hate to say this, it's a good enough movie on its own, but it's a terrible Terminator movie. It's a thing that I've been hearing a lot of people say, and I hate saying that because it is such a dumb and disrespectful way of addressing a movie. But the whole movie just feels like it didn't have an original bone to stand on. And I find it very, very fucking disrespectful that they called this an original movie when it's just a second movie, but with different people in the roles. It's the same reason I hated Genesis, but Genesis was at least trying to work off of fan fiction bullshit. So at least you can look at this and think, oh, that's cute. Somebody wrote this and thought it would be a cute little idea, but that's fine. That's all right. That's fine. but you're taking the single best sequel ever made, the greatest sequel next to Return of the King or Godfather Part 2, and you say that you're going to follow up on it when in reality you're removing it from existence, deleting any remnants of history in the continuity of the movie's existence, or rather, at the very least, not even that, just making it irrelevant, making everything that Kyle Reese fought and died for completely meaningless,
Pointless.
just so that you can have these new characters that no one knows or cares about completely fucking just coming out of nowhere and having absolutely no impact on the story.
Yeah, and plot hole in that movie. When did Skynet send that 101 to kill John?
That's the thing. That's the big issue here. Was it Skynet or was that Legion? And if it was Legion, why the hell did they send that particular model? Why did it could have?
Yeah.
They really only did that so that they can justify still having Arnold Schwarzenegger in the movie.
Exactly. Like, if it was Legion, why? They don't use those models.
Yeah, and apparently Edward Furlong himself was also pretty pissed off with the fact that they ended up killing off his character.
I can see why. And at least, I mean, say what you will about Salvation, but at least Salvation tried to do something new instead of just going at the same things as the previous Terminator movies. Because for one, they didn't do time travel. They didn't go with the usual formulaic Terminator stuff we experience in these other movies.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Salvation was what Dark Fate should have gone. Yeah. See why I gave up on the franchise?
Yeah, it's when your high point is the Sarah Connor Chronicles, you know there's a fucking problem there.
Yeah. And it was worse. One of the writers, the showrunner from the Sarah Connor Chronicles, was one of the writers of Dark Fate.
Suddenly, everything makes perfect sense.
Yeah. And you see what I mean?
Oh God! You know what? I think we can call it.
Let's call it a night.
Good Lord! What do you, Diego? Do you got anything else you want to add?
This gave me a headache. I feel a lot dumber after listening to what you guys said about this movie.
How do you think I felt watching this in theaters?
I'm glad I avoided it.
Oh, you should, because you would. Oh man, I'm glad I spared you the pain as I went through it, even after I walked out of the theater.
Oh my God!
Oh God! You still drink all that moonshine, Sebastian?
I'm just gonna call it. This whole thing just left me fucking depressed.
Yes. If anybody will need me, I'll just be in my corner, listening to freaking My Heart Will Go On.
So, that about wraps everything up. Thank you so much for watching. And if you like what you see here and you would like to see more, then check out our YouTube channel for reviews, video essays, let's plays, and more. And if you would like to support the show and help us keep the lights on in this scorching desert that we're currently living under, then check out our Patreon page for bonus content and exclusive rewards. I'm Sebastian from Cinema Again Reviews signing out, and I'll see you on the Wasteland.